Today is May 17th, 2024. After I did it, I had to go do something for one client. I had time in between my jobs. I went to a laundromat in Hartville. Some guy walks out of a restaurant down the way. He said, John tried to pull a stunt that she couldn't say anything. He can't do that. No, he can't. And like he just found out. Okay. Then some other idiot tried to say something too. I went and I had coffee after work. And it sounds like a mean girl thing to do. But if you sit and have coffee with somebody and you don't think they have enough integrity, guts to handle what you've lived through, I tell them what Dave and those people did to me. My brother laughs at me. He thinks it's funny. I said I scared these guys off that I don't like because I can tell they're cowards. So, first time meeting someone, we get to talking. The guys act like he's all big and bad. Well, he wasn't that big and bad. When he felt the dent in the back of my head, and it feels like a ball-peen hammer. And what was happening to me, and what they did to me, he had to go real quick. Well, I started laughing as soon as he walked out. I thought, you're really not that big and bad, are you? The thought, and I didn't even get to the gory parts. I go up and I get a refill of coffee, and I start laughing with the lady making my coffee. I said, I scared him, he laughed. She's like, I said, this is first time meeting. She said, I thought you two were only friends. The way you're sitting there talking. I said, well, it's the first time meeting. And I said, it sounds really bad, but that's how I get rid of people really quick. Because I already can figure they can't handle it. And I said I didn't get to the gory part. He probably would have peed himself. And she said she lived out in Wadsworth. And a couple years ago, in our apartment building, some of the drug cartel got in this guy's apartment. They heard a thud. Here they had to use a silencer, shot him, and then they dismembered him. About 7 of them got arrested out there. Another person was dismembered by these people. I told them about my coworker, how they tied up her family member and laughed in her face that they cut her into pieces. She said it sounds like the same group. And I told her about the drug cartel that was here in the different ones. And yeah. And then how they tried to kidnap me, and that the guy had took and dismembered my one coworker's family member, and then took my house manager's niece. And we were talking about the different cartels were here. I said until the sheriffs and marshals started blowing the hell out of them and arresting them. And then it's finally got calmer. Found another person that the cartel they dismember people. They're evil on Satan levels. And she said, the whole thing of human traffickers are sick and disgusting. You steal somebody to do whatever you want to them and then kill them. It's sick. I get tired of people yelling lies at me. And I'm tired of that lie from that agent. telling people he didn't have to help me because he told me not to say anything. And I don't get my money, and he stole it because of that. He stole it because he's a thief. He admitted on a recorded line that he talked to the Vegas and the church people, and he met with all of them, and he already knew that they were trying to kill me because of Strange's lie. He told 500 to 900 people between the three churches, and up at Apostolic Church of Barberton, he told over 300 that night. And where I talked to the prosecutor's office, someone from there, and I have also talked to a criminal attorney, and I have talked to the police out of this area. That agent is only a hired police officer. He can't even ask you to stay quiet. He don't got that kind of authority. Well, he already confessed on the recorded line that he told on me. It doesn't matter. You can tell whoever you want, and he can't open his mouth to you. It's who you feel comfortable telling that you called the FBI on him. And he can't open his mouth. Get the money for working the case, and only for working the case. And they can't put restriction on it. He was only bullying you. It takes a judge and a jury trial to put a gag order on you. Freedom of speech. The government would like to imply that you can't say anything, and they can't. It takes a judge and a jury trial. I am tired of people aiding and abetting a dirty police officer. FBI are just police, like Secret Service police, marshals, or police. They're federal police officers. They can work anywhere in the United States. Local works in the local area, sheriffs work in the county, and state patrol runs the state highways. It's where you work. It's right on Google that a local officer can arrest an FBI agent. They are no higher than them, and they are not submittable. And they know that they're doing crimes in their area. They can arrest them on the spot. FBI agent John has stolen over $335,000. See, they lied to people. Oh, it's in the quarter. It's not. I've even talked to the prosecutor's office. No sitting judge would write his own arrest warrant. That the Department of Justice and the local police would arrest him for breaking constitutional laws. That judge can only put a gag order on you during a jury trial per freedom of speech. He was only bullying you so they get away with this. He was aiding and abetting crimes. You know what he thought? He thought he was getting a rape victim that had been so drugged up by the cartel, been beaten, raped, has bruises all over, throwing up, infected. She's going to the doctor. The doctor's not even thinking of a serial rapist. And they're treating all the signs for it, and nobody's putting the pieces together. And she's thinking it's the well water killing her. Huh? And that it's toxic. And he could steal from a rape victim that's being human trafficked by the human traffickers. And they're running a big pawn on her. And he can bully her. And he'll steal her money. And that's where Sheriff David Mike DeWine's cousin wanted to know if our local police were slow. He said they should have arrested that agent the first day for the way he talked to you. And then they should, then I back then they were saying retired Judge Pete. He's like, I don't care if it's a sitting judge. Nobody can get away with these crimes. And here it's just Savannah's Facebook friend impersonating retired Judge Pete, and she's impersonating his daughter, Michelle. Sad gay. Pretty pathetic, aren't they? And what's worse is these pathetic people falling for it. Photoshopping and washing and roofie confessions so you're sleepwalking. The drug cartel in Ohio paid off a sheriff $100,000 to let them kill people in this area. He's in jail. A couple other police officers took payoff money from the cartel to look the other way too. They have bragged they paid off John. I bet they did. Well, and that's where Sheriff David said, why aren't they arresting him? See, that's where it's been questionable. Is he lying to him that he's just fooling him? Because he's blatantly embezzling in front of them. 14th Amendment, you cannot withhold protection, you cannot seize somebody's money or assets, but due process of the law. You can't withhold protection. 4th Amendment, no one can be in your home but police and agencies under a threat of life with statements. Like they said, that idiot can't hire a stalker. Like they said, he hired a serial rapist. He hired the drug cartel. It's documented by the sheriffs that I was framed by the drug cartel. It's a big drug scam. 5th Amendment, you have a right to remain quiet, and then you have a right to an attorney. They can't take your constitutional rights away. See, that's where when I go up in Akron, that occult, they thought because she was a woman, she had no rights. Dave can't take my rights away. My one client, her son-in-law, I told her a little bit about this. She started giggling. She said, I know somebody who tried that and got arrested the first day. And I said, who's that? She said, my son-in-law. Yeah, he's finally out of jail, but he was in jail for years and years. That he had somebody set up mountain cameras stalking her daughter and then photoshopping scenes trying to get her in trouble instead of just divorce her. Well, you can't hire a stalker. You can't do it in your home because of the right to privacy, brick house law. And you can't Photoshop things because it's sextortion. And you can't tape somebody naked. It's voyeurism. And you get listed as sex offender. Tape little kids going potty. If it's kiddie porn, it makes you a child molester. Like they said, all these people that said they were in a home before will all get listed child molesters. So we all know they taped those little kids going potty. They sold it. They sold kiddie porn, and that agent didn't arrest them. What do you think about that? He didn't arrest them for kiddie porn. He didn't arrest them for drug beating, raping me. Acted like on a recorded line, he was a crazy occult person. And he was going along with it. Like I said, he has to be telling the local police it's an act to get the drug dealers. Because he's blatantly doing the crimes. I talked to my Sheriff David Mike DeWine's cousin. And that's where he said, is your local police slow? They should have arrested that agent for the way he talked to you. He doesn't have the authority to take your money. And if he's took your money, they go back through his cases he stole from other victims. It takes a special kind of evil, FBI agent John. It takes a special kind of evil to steal from a human trafficking victim that's being raped by the cartel and they're running a pawn on, instead of you saving that victim. It takes a pretty special kind of evil to feed that victim back to the cartel for any amount of money. It takes a special kind of evil. On a recorded line, I told him somebody told on me that night before the church, and he told the Apostolic Church of Barberton. He knew I was being drug, beaten, raped, and didn't care. For strangers liar, the faking or second faking got well, and he wasn't going to help me. He told all those people he wasn't going to help me. It was premeditated to steal my money. I told you, Dave, we got out in the car and he's screaming at me for calling the FBI hotline. I didn't even talk to that agent yet. Dave told Danny to talk to him at that church. Everybody, all the bad guys knew. I tell that agent someone told on me the night before. He calls me a liar. Then confesses it was him. I told him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He calls me a liar. I said, well, he tried to kidnap me before. Terry's seen him. Let me tape her with her permission. The sheriffs have her recording of seeing him, describing the van and everything. Okay? He said, oh, come on now. Even if a church person's seen him, they would never verify it. Well, Terry did. Because I've already met with that family in their office that lost their kid in that traffic accident. I told you about them. 2003, the middle of me getting well from medication errors, medical malpractice, after I had a bunch of surgeries, muscles locked up from all the trauma. Went to a bunch of crackpots. And I found out through my doctor they were known for lying. And they were known for ripping off people's insurance and draining it like a checking account. And just writing out big prescriptions and getting kickbacks for $200 to $1,000 per bad prescription. And making you sick enough that you had to keep coming back in the office appointments, sharing you with their associates and their friends and wanting to do unnecessary procedures. They were known for doing that. It's called overcare. It's medical malpractice, using their degree to rip people's insurance off that pays for almost everything. Okay? Now, like I said, when I first walked in there, I was 105 pounds of pain. Couldn't stand how bad my stomach and back hurt from all the times I'd been cut. Muscles are so tight they won't release. They start me on medication. My feet start swelling. I ask if it's the meds. Oh, you have underlying conditions. No, I didn't. I was having an allergic reaction. Went up into my legs. My knees are popping out of place. Got canes and braces because my knees are sliding out of place from the fluid. Getting turkey paste syringes of fluid out from underneath my knees. More steroids put in. And enlarged the valves of my heart. Had many heart attacks. They still didn't pull me off. My thyroid shut down, my adrenal gland. My brain started swelling. They lied that I had level 2 brain tumors, needing my pituitary gland out. By then, I'm 250 to 275 pounds within about a year. I am so huge. That's why I got like 3 arms. I, went to all my family physicians, and I said, what do you think of this? And she's like, whoa. And that's when she told me those doctors were known for lying. They were known for falsely diagnosing people, writing out the big prescriptions, getting the $200 to $1,000 kickbacks, sharing with their associates, and they're known for lying and ripping people off and making them sick, making them have to keep coming back, and then wanting to do unnecessary procedures. You don't have brain tumors. The only thing that's wrong with you is the medicine's making you sick. And I'm like, what? And then she goes over it again, and she's like, you get off that medication, you'll be fine. And it took me 9 months to slowly get well and learn to walk on numb feet. First month, I lost 30 pounds. Second month, I'm pulling myself around stores, malls. I ended up in the emergency room in so much pain. By the end of the second month, for the third month, I could drive a car. Only thing that was wrong with me is my muscles locked up. Brain swelling was gone. My heart was beating fine. It's still enlarged. The valves in my heart, it's documented. Huh? I didn't have to have the calcium blockers and the nitro pills. Thyroid and adrenal gland started working. Brain swelling left. Like they said, the brain swelling alone would have caused most of the symptoms. It's all chemically induced. I started in November of 2002. By April, I'm almost well. I went from a 24 to 16. I was deflating like a balloon. May 3rd, 2003, there's a church baseball game. I am at home with my family, and Brian had to show up and tell us where the people were running late. Phil was one of the lead cars, blew through a stop sign into a semi, killed him and Tyler both. Okay? And then everybody couldn't believe he didn't even try to stop. He was showing off and killed himself and his grandson. Come July, I finished getting well. In November of 2003, My sister Linda's married to Strange's son, Tim, the minister's son. And she was out one day and seen him with Katie. She started following him around. She got caught. They thought it was me. And Strange made up that baby lie. Had nothing to do with their traffic accident. Like they said back in '03, they're going to have to learn to live with the shame of her father killing her kid. And instead, they're wanting to take all their hurt and pain out on somebody who had nothing to do with it. So, we're the 2.5 years of surgeries, a year of swelling up and or more of everything quit working, almost dying, and then another 9 months. We're talking like 4-year span. Okay? Him telling everybody, oh, she was faking through that. I got scars everywhere. MRI reports, blood work. MRI reports showing the swelling. Blood work showing everything shut down. Fentanyl patches. They don't get fentanyl over fakers. It's 100 times stronger than morphine. Where Dr. Eli said your muscles are locked so tight, I got to get you on enough pain to actually move them. As you move them, blood flow will get into them. As blood flow gets into them, they'll loosen up. Then you can build new muscle tissue. Okay? And then you'll be fine. It's the medicine making you sick. They almost killed me. All my family and physician encouraged me and Dave for 2 years to sue them. That's where Altman Hospital, December 30th, 23, in the emergency room. My God, nobody's to talk to these people. They had somebody impersonate a doctor from Altman Hospital. The hospital gets sued. For HIPAA violations, my doctor could never talk to them or anybody. Right to privacy in your doctor license. Make me a millionaire. Then, no, my God, no one's to ever back those doctors from before. They were all lying, ripping off her insurance. They were lying so bad they told her she had brain tumors and there was nothing wrong with her, but her muscles locked up. No one's to ever back somebody making somebody sick with medication errors and just ripping off their insurance and lying like that. And two of the cops walked by. All those doctors were lying before. Yes. There was nothing. It was a medication error. The medicine making her sick. None of this is funny. It's documented medical malpractice and documented medication errors. Okay? Now, it's Strange's baby lie. To cover up his son's adultery, get rid of me real quick. Now, I tell that agent, someone told on me before he calls me a liar. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He's a serial killer, by the way. He dismembers people. He's a kidnapper for the Florida human traffickers, and I'm describing him. And the authorities know what he looks like. Okay? I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me. Calls me a liar. I tell him he tried to kidnap me before. He said, oh, come on now. I've met with that family in my office that lost their kid in the traffic accident. Did I have anything to do with it? No. I just went to their church. So Strange making up anything on me, does it have to do with them and their tragedy? No. Like they said, they made up a reason to kill her. And I've met with all those church people, and I know they're trying to kill you because you were faking you were sick and faking you got well while that family was grieving. It's like I really was sick. He's like, even if a church person seen him, they would never verify it. Kept me out. And I thought of Terry and I was going to tell him, but when he said that, I didn't. I already know they're trying to kill you. Aiding and abetting attempted murder. Right on the recorded line. He just confessed he told on me. I've met with that family in their office that lost their kid in a traffic accident. And 15 years before, don't even go to their church. They had to hunt me down. Don't even go to their church. That minister made up a baby lie on me, just discredit me and get rid of me. Cover up his son's adultery for you to tell. And I've met with those church people I know, they're all trying to kill you because you're faking you're sick and faking you got well that family was screaming. It's like I really was sick. You liar. Now, was there a camera above the bench or not? I don't know. Either say you're lying or I'll put you in jail. And then he screams it again. Was there a camera above that bench or not? I don't know. You say you're lying or rush you. It's like, fine, whatever. I don't know. Okay? Then he said, I want you to say you were faking you were sick before. It's like, I really was sick. It's documented medical malpractice and documented medication errors. And it's like, I really was sick before. You liar. And then he does the thing about meeting with that family in his office. It's just making up shit to kill people because they're evil. Part of that occult. And I've met with all those church people. And you need to realize what you've done. And I don't blame them for trying to kill you. He actually says that on a recorded line. I tell him I really was sick. You either say you're faking or I'll leave you there. I said, but I really was sick. You say it or I'll leave you there. They're going to try to kill me. So they've tried to kill me. So you say it or I'll leave you there. And I start begging for my life. I said, say it or I'll leave you there. It's like, fine, just don't let them kill me. Ha, 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 ha. Like some guy from the case, we heard the way he talked to her. And him saying he didn't blame him for that thing of faking you were sick. How dare he involve himself in such crap? Religious heresy. It's religious heresy. Lunacy. He said, why would the FBI help a person like you? Well, they're going to try to kill me, so. He's aiding and abetting attempted murder. They've tried to kill me, so. And the other one, the scam of Pete, where March 20th, 24 in Walmart 62, they were laughing in there. They even made up Pete. They made up everything on her before to get away with this, including Pete. And they're laughing in there. Okay? Now, the only Pete I know is my brother Medina. And he said the weird whatever, the shower scene and washing in the other room. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's laughing. Stop. She don't know. Apparently you didn't know either, buddy. It was a big scam where you were just going along with it to steal from a rape victim. It's being human trafficked and scammed by the cartel. And as if he didn't know it wasn't the cartel doing it. And then he yells out, the other agent yells out, well, we could use Pete's tape of blah, blah. And I went, what is he talking about? No, the only Pete I know is my brother in Medina. I've never met him. And I don't even know who he's talking about. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's laughing, stop, she don't know. I didn't know jack shit, buddy. I thought the well water was killing me. Just washing in it because it looked like poop water and just showering out and washing my hands. I thought it was giving me cancer where I was showing up with bruises, throwing up, heart racing, severely infected. And I thought it was killing me just washing in it. And I'm going to Altman Family Physicians for migraine headaches, throwing up, heart racing, almost passing out in front of people, giant bruises all over me, muscle pain. They're giving me iron pills, muscle relaxers, stuff for migraine headaches, throwing up, and a severe swollen personal infection until I couldn't hardly pee. And here I'm being drug beaten right to my own home by the cartel. And it's a drug cartel scam. Okay? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's laughing, stop, you don't know. I bet you're going to say you don't know anything about this doctor coming in here sharing your information. Well, there was a lady the second year we were married that we got a bunch of medical bills that weren't mine. And then over the years, She stayed in the hospital. She had all kinds of procedures. I got a phone call one time. They said, we want to talk about your stay here in the hospital. I said, I haven't stayed in your hospital in a while. Well, you got 2 little girls. It's like I got 3 stinky boys. What are you talking about? It's not mine. And back then you didn't have to show ID. You just had to call in your insurance later. We got stuck with the copays, a lot of them. She went Harry-Carry on my insurance. We reported insurance fraud. Okay? I thought maybe it's one of her bills. And here it's just some guy saying he's a doctor. The fake paperwork to make it look official, January 19 to get rid of it. The guy that wrote it up didn't like her. They're a handful, aren't they? And he's laughing. Stop. She don't know. Give me a real reason why I tell him about my brother-in-law, Craig, that died working at the Pentagon. He offers to take me somewhere and leave me with no money. And before he does that, he said, first of all, have you talked to any law enforcement up here about threatening your life? I said, the only 2 law enforcement I've actually talked to was 2 officers, and I called them silly or stupid. August 8th of 18, I had a light in the security system. They showed up and told me it looked like an alien orb or an angry spirit. I offered him water because I was dehydrated. He said, well, you're kidding, right? And I went, no. And they told me to buy a big dog and let a dog handle it. That's how they handle it in the country. He went, you're kidding, right? I said, matter of fact, I've not even had my neighbors in my home. I've had my family, and I've had repair guys and installation guys. I've not even had my neighbors in my home. I don't know what you're talking about. He went from laughing to choking. Is that what's going on? He knew I never talked to anybody. Okay? Then he offers me to take me somewhere and leave me with no money. Then he offers me an informant program if I agree to get information on Dave in the churches. And I said, well, I can do that. Well, they're already breaking the 3 people in the mall that the attempt on my life was them. And I thought, well, it'll last a few weeks and I'll be set for life. He said, I'm opening an account with $5,000 a month. You'll have that money to live on when you move out. He said, you'll have a life of peace as an informant. Nothing legally stated dated against you again for work in this case, and only for you would we ever do this for. We'll always put it back as if it never happened. And you can't be legally charged for anything again for work in this case. You have that money to live on. Okay? And he said, admit to no wrongdoing and I'll take care of everything in the end. But if you try to tell someone, I'll list you crazy and no one will help you. I told the prosecutor's office what he said to me. He laughed, I cried. He said no sitting judge would ever write his own arrest warrant. The Department of Justice or the police arrest him for taking your freedom of speech away outside a jury trial. For the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, only a judge during a jury trial can put a gag order on you. He's only a higher officer, and he was only bullying you to get away with it. And all the police know that he doesn't have the authority to ask you to stay quiet, and he was only bullying you. Get the money for working the case, and only for working the case. He is only a higher police officer. He don't even have the authority. You can tell whoever you want and whoever you feel comfortable telling. And he can't open his mouth to you. And the money's for working the case. I talked to a criminal attorney, said the same thing, and he can't bully you into false statements. It's called badgering. It's obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence, and tampering with witnesses. Okay? And I talked to the police out of this area, and they want to know why the police haven't arrested him for embezzling over $335,000. And for all the crimes and aiding and abetting. They said he stole my money on the first day. He thought he had a rape victim so drugged up from the cartel. Doctors not even putting it together of a serial rapist and her being human trafficked under drugs. And they're drugging me up and telling me to say stuff, stalking me and photoshopping things in this extortion act. Nobody thought of that because they never seen or talked to anybody. I told you, I thought they were dreams. before the FBI, I had a weird memory. It felt like I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And it felt like my back and ribs ripped open. And it broke down into my sternum, into the front of my chest. And every cell in my body was screaming in agony. I thought it was a dream. But they were drug being raping me. And they left giant bruises. And my bruised hair was so swollen I couldn't hardly breathe. They were hurting me. And drugged me so I couldn't see who did it. I remember a white man's arm going across me with this giant syringe and the room going black, and I thought it was a dream. And more marks. And I remember hearing footsteps that sounded like marching. And that's it. I thought they were dreams. I didn't know it. I thought it was a well. I kept telling all my family physicians, I know we came from city water to well water, and the well water looks like poop water. And I only wash my hands in it. And I shower in it. Is it making my personal area so swollen I can't be infected? Is it making me sick that's making me throw up and dizzy? And where are all these marks coming from? Did you fall? No, maybe you were coming in anything. That's where I went to my daughter-in-law, Jen. Did you know any of this? She's like, no. I thought you were working too hard and bruising too easy. I didn't think anything about it. Because the thought of sexual predators breaking your home, drugging you up until you say stuff, beating and raping you under drugs, and that it's happening to one of your loved ones. And what's sick is Dave hired him. That agent was to do his damn job and arrest them for confessing. Now he stole the rape victim's money. A human trafficking victim the cartel's running a big scam on. And he stole my money and fed me back to the cartel. FBI agent John, it takes a special kind of evil to feed a human being back to the human traffickers and to mock them and laugh them for a scam. They publicly humiliated you June 7th, 23, that you would actually fall for this ton of tapes before. Oh, come on now, that FBI agent John actually fell for that. And they're mocking him, laughing. Lighthouse Tabernacle, the sheriff's tape him, and it cannot be disputed. They have taped these people that they made everything up on me. They have taped them that they have drugged me up and told me to say it. And I lost 18 pounds for the FBI. I lost another 70 in protected custody. He fed me back to the cartel. It takes a special kind of evil to take a human trafficking victim and feed them back to the cartel and then steal their money. It takes a pure evil Satanism to feed a victim back to the cartel for any amount of money. So when I'm out, any riffraff listening, don't repeat FBI agent John's lie of you can't say anything. You don't have authority. He's bullshitting people. That's where Sheriff David, Mike DeWine's cousin, you get the money for only working the case. What's wrong with your local police? They should have arrested that agent for the way he talked to you and for stealing your money. He can't do any of that, and he can't ask you to stay quiet. I've talked to Sheriff Joe in Florida. Same thing. I've talked to the prosecutor's office. You don't have that kind of authority. I ask you to stay quiet. No sitting in charge of signing his own arrest warrant by taking somebody's freedom of speech away outside of a jury trial. They're the only ones who can put a gag order on you. They can only do it per constitution in a jury trial. Where I told my ex-husband it's not a communist country, it's not. And it was verified by the police that FBI agent John told on me of that church. Dave told Danny to talk to him. And he confessed. He told on me to all the church people that I called the hotline for. He spoke to me. I've talked to a criminal attorney. He said the same thing in the place out of this area. He's stealing open where I have talked to people. If he stole your money, he stole others. And he's become too arrogant and too proud that he don't think he can be stopped. My one client, when I told her some of this, she started laughing. She crossed her arms. She's like, I know somebody who tried that, something like that, and they're still in jail. Well, not they just got released not too long ago. When I first told her, laughed and laughed. I said, who's that? She said, my ex-son-in-law hired someone to stalk her daughter. Tried to Photoshop like shower scenes and stuff like that. Tried to get her in trouble so to just divorce her. He got arrested the first day. 4 of them, if you take a picture of somebody naked without their permission, you get listed as sex offender. You cannot be hired to stalk someone. You cannot interfere in somebody's personal private life. You cannot harass them. You can't follow them around. You cannot stalk somebody. You can't hire a stalker. You cannot hire the cartel to break in and roofie somebody with amnesia drugs and drug them up and beat and rape that poor victim. And they're so drugged up they don't know what happened to them. And drug them up and tell them to say something stupid and be gay enough trying to say you have sodium pentothal reports. Truth serum, the truth serum is lie serum. It's movie flick stuff that you actually lie under. If they'd actually, and it's been outlawed in the country, and it's an anesthetic that when you come out of it, you'll admit to anything. You'll lie your ass off. And they outlawed it years ago. Shuts down your airways. You used to use it in surgeries, and when you come out, you just confess to Pearl Harbor or anything. Just say yes to anything. It's a big scam. And photoshopping, washing in the other room, it's clicking and pasting. And reviews, you're all sleepwalking. That's where even Sheriff David said we've all known nothing's been trustworthy for years. You can take words out of sentences and other sentences and then tape over, and it makes the person look like they're saying something they didn't. Everything's digital. It's just moving it and then copying over and make a whole new tape. You can Photoshop somebody else's head on somebody else's body. You can Photoshop their clothes, their hair, their eye color. You can Photoshop them into different rooms. And nothing's been trustworthy for years. And amnesia drugs are sleepwalking. And we all known about them for years. What's wrong with your local police? Talked to Sheriff Joe in Florida. He said those amnesia drugs are so bad they could have drugged up the people and told them to take down the towers. And because they're mind-controlling drugs, those people could have went and killed those people and didn't know they did it. That's how much they can control you. We all know about those drugs. And they brag during the case they can control anybody for 4 to 6 hours. I've met people that were roofied, and the stuff that came out of their mouth, you could tell it wasn't them. And saying off the wall stuff. And sitting there talking to you with no memory. It's sort of like LSD and the hippies, where they'd walk around hallucinating in the 60s. They've refined them. Wipes out your memory. Walking around like a zombie. Under somebody else's control. Doing and told what you're said to do. They've known about those for years. See, that's where I talked to the prosecutor's office. It took him 30 seconds. It's a fraud scheme. They did the biggest mistake. It's the Fourth Amendment of the House. Nobody can be inside your house but protected like cases with statements. That's where Officer Reinhardt said it. The Portage County Sheriff's The Massillon police, what they did is not admissible. It's illegal to be in somebody's home no matter what, but protected like cases with statements, even the FBI would go to jail. It's entrapment if they do. If not, it's stocking tapes. Like they said, all they have is freaking Peking Tom tapes where they admitted they drugged me and told me to say it, admitted they photoshopped everything in stocking tapes, and they made everything up. It's a big drug scam. That's where my friend from the prosecutor's office. It's a big fraud scheme where you had all the bruises you couldn't explain, throwing up, da-da-da. They probably did drug you up and tell you to say something stupid. Okay? And where they're laughing at you, they photoshopped a shower scene. They probably did. They did. It's a big fraud scheme. Took them 30 seconds. It's a big drug scam. It's documented by the police. I was framed by the drug cartel. Officer Mark over my case. Tall white guy with white hair, heavy set, late 50s. Told the lady August 22nd of 23 that none of this is funny. She said, did her ex-husband defend her? He said, yeah, we taped him. So did I. He said, did anybody ever speak to her? I said, no. Then they had to have framed her. He said, it's been documented and verified that she was framed before. Was it the drug cartel? He said, yes, we've seen them. So who did Dave hire? The drug cartel. It was documented, verified it was a medication error that made her sick before, and that even some other woman was using her insurance. She said, none of this is funny. He said, I know it's not. The police documented it in 18. I was innocent of everything, and I was framed by the drug cartel. I don't think that agent is funny. He's bullying people. He's stealing money. He's feeding them back to the drug cartel and stealing from the government that the money meant for victims. I'm going to upload this.